Have a seat up on your lift. Cross your legs in the center of your shins. Take your feet underneath your knees. Rest your hands lightly on your thighs, not so much over the knees, because we tend, when we hold the knees, we tend to grip our hands, or it's more likely that we grip our hands. And if you're doing the arm extending things, that's one thing. But see if you can just rest your hands on the thighs themselves without gripping anything. And just take a moment before we jump in and move, create change, to notice what's here now. Notice what pleasant thoughts are running through, what unpleasant thoughts are running through, what neutral thoughts are running through. Notice what pleasant sensations are here, what unpleasant sensations are here, what neutral sensations are here. Without changing the breath, simply notice the breath, allowing the breath to breathe you, surrendering to the infinite wisdom of the breath, of prana, letting the breath breathe you. And noticing, where does it flow? Where does it touch? An element of yoga is practice in the art of observation, in the art of witnessing. In a non-judgmental way. With the because Iyengar uses these words, friendly indifference. So there's a friendliness to whatever is here. It doesn't mean you have to love it and enjoy it. And yet there's a friendliness. Can you begin to create a friendliness towards yourself as well as the current experiences, thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations that are taking place inside of you? And once we have, excuse me, once we have an intimate understanding of this moment, of this here and now, we can begin to create change that may be beneficial for us. So using the body as a guide, seeking to create an alignment within the body, finding the even balance of your sit bones. Lengthening from the upper inner thighs through the inner knees, lengthening from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen. A lengthening and opening. So not that forced stretching, but it's more as if you're slowly opening the door. You just want to peek what's inside. You don't want to disturb anything. Just going to gently open the door and peek inside. Can you create an opening? It's enough for you to see. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips as you compact the hips together. And take a moment again to witness there's a new here and now. We've made some changes. Observe the thoughts, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Observe the body, body sensations, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Notice how the breath is breathing you now. Lengthening through the side ribs. Take the front bottom ribs kindly, gently towards the back body. Don't need to force anything. Not seeking to be harsh in the body. But as you take the front bottom ribs towards the back body, the top of the buttocks down, find a lengthening through the side ribs. Again, that opening enough so that you can peek inside. But not so much that you're going to disturb everything. Or not so suddenly that you'll disturb everything. Allow the shoulders to release down away from the sides of your neck. And find a lengthening and opening from the inner armpits to the inner elbows. Pay attention to both sides, not one. Again, opening enough just to peek through. Not so much that you disturb. Gently bring your palms together at your chest. Touch the palms evenly, left to right, right to left. Soften your face. And again, take a moment to observe, to witness. Any thoughts that may still be here? Although when you focus so much on the body, the thoughts tend to soften, dissolve. But you can check in, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. And with the body, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. And noticing how the experience of the breath is different now than it was a few moments ago. Let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together, exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Om. Before moving, notice. Practice the art of observation with a friendly indifference, non-judgment, not, oh, this is so much better. Not, oh, this is so much worse. Not, I wish we would be moving on to something else. Although those are simply thoughts that cause sensations to arise in the body. So you can witness thoughts and you can witness the sensations and welcome them in with friendliness. Keeping your sternum lifted, lower your chin towards your heart. Take your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. Gently let your eyes open. Straighten your legs. Come to the edge of the lift that you have. Take your feet together if they go together. If not, you're welcome to put a block between your feet, or you can have them apart as well. Otherwise, you can simply take a block between your feet. Hands by your hips, legs straight. Elbows bent. Witness first. Press the thighs down. The tops of the thighs, not just the knees. And to be clear, ultimately, yes, it's the entire thigh, that center thigh. But if your awareness, when I say press the thighs down, if your awareness goes towards your knees, then I want you to bring it higher up towards the tops of your thighs. Lengthen from the upper inner thighs out through the inner knees, out through the inner heels, and lengthen from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen. Descend the flesh of the inner thighs, draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. And maintaining that, you don't need to straighten the arms, but push down into the lift to begin to lengthen the arms, but really to lengthen the side ribs. Shoulders stay down. Keep the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Do not let the shoulders come up. If the arms get straight, fine. If they don't, fine. My arms are not straight right now. Perhaps by the end of class, they might be. But they're a little straighter. It also depends on the length of your arms as well as the length of the side ribs and how they compare to each other. So don't get caught up by the pictures in the book because your body doesn't match the person of the picture in the book. Do get caught up in what's most beneficial for your body right now. And then become a witness, observing sensations, observing the breath, allowing the breath to breathe you. There is a lot of doing in yoga practice, but the doing is only to get us to a place where we can observe. Yoga begins to take place when we begin to observe, or has the potential to begin to take place when we begin to observe. Separate your feet. You might want a lower lift, okay? So for me, when I do this pose, it's actually a little bit more beneficial with a lower lift. So you can decide for you, if your lower back begins to scoop or there's discomfort there, then take a higher lift. But I'm going to listen to my body, and I want you to listen to your body, and you can play with it. Try 1, 2. Not moving that fast today. Throw in another blanket, take out another blanket. And see what you need. Have a strap nearby. Okay, just have it next to you. So again, hands by your hips. Can you begin to have a conversation with your body? I often say, you know, when you take your leg, if you're taking your legs out to max, take them in a little bit, because you have more control over the muscles and are able to press the thighs down. And I want you to maybe play with it a little bit, take them a little closer together, a little further apart. And can you have a conversation and check in with your body and ask it even what's optimal for you today? What's needed for you today or wanted? Not by the ego part of the body, but the body itself. The answer comes from the solar plexus area. Press the thighs down. Lengthen from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner heel, lengthen from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen. The thighs pressing down, but the flesh of the inner thighs descend down. The flesh of the outer thighs also descend down, but don't turn the thighs out to do that. Kneecaps point towards the ceiling. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. Maintain down in the legs. So keep those thighs pressing down. Gently press into the hands to lift up through the side ribs, to lengthen, to open, so that you can peek through. Not so that you disturb, not so that you force, but can you slowly open, peeking through what might be there. And then take your left hand between your legs. If you can't reach the floor because of the lift, then you take another blanket or a block, and that can help you. Your opposite hand goes behind you. Lift up first, or use that lift up. The more you press the thighs down, the more you lift up. Inhale and exhale, and begin to turn from the base upward. Don't just turn the shoulders, but from the base upward, turn your navel towards your right leg. Keep your chin in line with your sternum. Keep your chin parallel to the floor. Now maintain that lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Press the thighs down, lengthen the inner thighs, descend the flesh of the inner and outer thighs as you draw the outer knees to the outer hips. Press gently into the hands to open up the side ribs. Maintain that opening. Don't sink when you move your hands. You have your hand support to lift the side ribs. When you move your hands, you need to maintain that lifting. Maintain the lift, and the right hand inside your legs, left hand outside your legs. Lift again, inhale, exhale, begin to turn. Keep pressing the thighs down, do all that leg work. Lengthen the inner thighs, descending the inner thighs, outer knees to outer hips. All that happens here. Turn optimally. If your face begins to grimace, you're working too hard. Can you check in? What is optimal for you today? Can you begin to have a conversation with your body? We talk in our head a lot, right? All those stories back and forth, the made-up conversations that we have with ourselves, the made-up conversations we have with other people in our head. So now I'm asking you to switch the conversation from your head to having a conversation with your body. Maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center, hands by your hips. Press the thighs down, press your hands down to gently open up through the side ribs. Keep that lift, take hold of your strap. Just kind of toss that strap. I went a little too far. Toss that strap around your right foot. And then take your left hand, reach for the strap. Not so far that you start bending over. We're not doing that right now. So you still want a perpendicular spine. Take hold of the strap. Take your right hand behind you. Inhale, press the thighs down, lengthen up through the spine and side ribs. Exhale, use that left hand, bend the elbow slightly to turn. Again, leading with the body, not the head. Shoulders down, elbows up, shoulders down. Find an optimal place. And then pause. Keep the work. But then transition to becoming a witness. What are the results of your work? Again, in a friendly, non-judgmental way. Maintain the lift. Exhale, come to center. Lift up through the side ribs. Then you have to kind of undo yourself. Take that strap. Begin to turn to the left. Throw that strap across the foot. Then lift up through the spine. So you press the thighs down to help you lift up. Take your right hand, reach down on the strap, not so far that you lean forward, but so that your arm is nicely extended. Left hand behind you. Lifting up first, press the thighs down as you lift up, still lengthening through the inner thighs, descending the inner thighs, drawing the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, begin to bend that right elbow, both elbows bending, elbows up, shoulders down, and turn. Observe. Witness. Maintain that lift. Inhale. Exhale, come to center. Hands by your hips. Lengthening up through the side ribs. Some of you will notice a difference taking place in the side ribs. For me, my arms are beginning to get longer and therefore, or able to extend more because there's more length in my side ribs now. Still not completely straight, but I can feel more opening. I can peek through that door just a little bit more. You can move the strap to the side for a moment. Have it nearby though. Take hold of the inside of your knees and pull straight up. And then you can take your feet together. Baddha Konasana. Now, I'm noticing for me, because I took that lower lift for Upavista Konasana, that this doesn't quite work for me because I need a higher lift for this pose. So I'm taking my legs together, I'll hold behind my knee, draw the flesh towards the buttocks to straighten my leg as I redo my setup. You can redo yours. What is your body telling you? Do you need a higher lift? How are your hips? And I can come back, check it out. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I don't know yet. So this will work out today. Hands by your hips. So don't be afraid to change your setups. You have to begin to have this conversation with your body and what's needed, and be willing to, the lazy party says, just leave the lift, it's close enough. You'll get the benefit of the pose. And I'm not even going to say I never do that. And yet, if I really want the benefits of the pose, then I have to shift to the part of me that actually wants to practice yoga, that actually wants to learn about this practice, that wants to grow from this practice, and take the time to adjust things. Press your heels together, lengthen through the inner thighs. Actually, let's take the strap now because we're going to want it in a moment. So you can take that strap. So take your hands away from your hips, take that strap, and keeping your shoulders above your hips. Now, it depends how long your arms are, how far down you hold, but not this one where you're kind of grabbing and your elbows are bent. See if you can begin to reach down towards the floor, not so much that you're leaning forward, still shoulders over the hips. And then as you rotate the upper arms out, there's space for those side ribs to open. But do press the heels, lengthen the inner thighs, again from the inner thigh out towards the inner knees, or even past the inner knees, and then from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen. And drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips. So the inner thighs opening. Even as we draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, there's a contraction there, but the hips themselves open. Like opening a door, peeking in, and then the opening of the side ribs. And then take hold of both sides of the strap with your left hand. Take your right hand behind you. We'll move into a twist. Inhale, lifting up through the side ribs. Exhale, you can bend the elbows, especially that front elbow, and begin to turn. Don't lose the legs. Are you still lengthening in the groin? Are you still compacting the hips? And turn optimally for you today. Use the breath. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, turn. So the breath can guide you in this. But again, you need to practice kindness, compassion, and friendliness towards the body. And then once you're at an optimal place, then you want to transition to a state of observation, to an awareness of observation. Maintain the lift. Inhale, maintain the lift. Exhale, come to center. There's a tendency once we come to center, we think we're done, so we collapse. See if you can maintain, be in the pose. You're still in the pose. And then taking your right hand, holding the sides of the strap, left hand behind you. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Still lengthening the groins, still compacting the hips. All that is still there. We're adding the turn. The elbows move away from each other, elbows up, shoulders down. Use the breath to guide you. And turn optimally for you today. If your body is seeking more, interestingly enough, the slower you go, the further you go. The faster you try to turn, the faster the body stops you. Goes, well, that's enough. You're hitting the wall here. But if you go slowly, you'll find that the body opens up slowly. You can peek in through that door a little bit more. Maybe, just maybe, if you go slowly enough, patiently enough, you can open that door up without disturbing anything. And open it up enough to walk through it and see what's really inside. Maintain the lift, inhale. Maintain the lift, exhale, come to center. Hold down by the floor. Take hold on the outside, not hold, but take your hands on the outside of your knees, move your legs together. Hold behind one knee, draw the flesh towards the buttocks as you drag the heel. This is to benefit your knee. Hold behind the other knee, draw the flesh towards the buttocks, drag the heel, straighten the leg, and back to Dandasana. Hands by your hips. We did Dandasana some moments ago. Is this the same experience or a different experience? Thighs down, lengthen the inner thighs, compact the hips. Begin to use the arms to help straighten the side ribs. And observe. And release. All right, not the chair yet. Keep your strap. For me, I'm going to take a lower lift. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be doing Janu Shirshasana. So you're going to have to play with the lift. So here's how we get into the pose. You're going to take your left leg, move it out to the side, and then take your right leg then and move that slightly out. And then you can draw your foot to your thigh. But I'm not liking my lift right now. It's too high for me today. The more you practice this, the more you'll find you're actually more comfortable on the floor for some of us. But again, if you're new to this, you will need a higher lift. So again, I want you to begin to speak to your body, to have conversations with your body, and even try it out. So try out 3 blankets, try out 2 blankets. So I'm going to go back to 1 blanket and see how that goes. So taking my left leg out to the side again, taking my right leg over, holding my ankle, drawing the foot in. All right, today, this is feeling better for me. To be clear, some days I need a higher lift. So you want your thighs to be at about a 90-degree angle. All right, do the words make sense? Everybody clear on how we're getting into this? Everyone clear on experimenting and finding your best setup? Okay. Now, if your knee is very high up because of tight groins or tight hips, then you can also take a blanket and just let the outer knee rest so that it's supported. If your knee is supported, your groin can open up more, actually. So yes, the floor can support it, but if the floor is not there, then blanket supports it, all right? This straight leg, the thigh turns in, so the kneecaps are up, the toes are up. In both legs, lengthen from the inner thighs through the inner knees, that straight leg all the way out through the inner heel, the ball of the big toe. On both legs, draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. And for a moment, just hands by hips as you lift through the side ribs and work those legs. And then take your left hand inside your legs, right hand on the outside of behind you, in this behind the center of your buttocks. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Again, from the base towards the top, moving your navel towards your front leg. Okay. Keep that lift. Come to center. Take hold of your strap. Take that strap around your foot. Now, before you just focus on the torso, so right now I'm holding both sides of the strap in each hand. Lengthen the inner thighs. Send the flesh to the inner thighs. Thigh bone, that straight leg, thigh bone down. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. As soon as I do that, I feel, when I compact those hips together, I feel my torso rise up. From that, there's more length. I can begin to turn a little bit more. Now, take your left hand, hold down on the strap. Again, not so much that you're leaning forward yet. We're not there yet. Take your right hand behind you. Inhale, lifting, exhale, bend especially that front elbow, but out to the side. So the elbow comes up, shoulder down, and turn. Don't just turn with the head, turn optimally for you. Maintain the work of the legs. That will help this. So the straight leg, thigh bone down, both legs lengthening the inner thighs, both legs compacting the outer knees, contracting the outer knees to the outer hips as you compact the hips. And for me, I noticed I had said take your hand in the center, behind the center of the buttocks. For me, I found out today that was a little too far. So I actually then moved the hand to my outer hip. So you have to find what's optimal for you. Have those conversations and then observe. And come to center, hold both sides of the strap first, lift up through the side ribs. Maintain the lift. I'm not going to force your arms overhead, but maintain the lift, come to center, release the strap, support the bent leg, lift it up, put your foot flat on the floor, hold behind the knee, draw the flesh towards the buttock, straighten the leg, and then take the legs together in Dandasana. Now, this might be a low lift for Dandasana for some of you, so we're just going to be here quickly and then move to the other side. So now let that right leg fall out, hold inside of the knee and take the leg out to the side first. Then the left leg can move over and take hold of your ankle and take your foot next to your thigh. Today, there are different ways to set this up. So today, the foot is going on the opposite thigh. Sometimes we do that very open one, but let's be a little kinder to ourselves today. So you're looking at a 90-degree angle of your thighs. So hands by your hips first, thigh bone, straight leg thigh bone down, lengthening the thighs, drawing the outer knees to the outer hips, descending the flesh of the inner thighs. And then right hand between your legs, left hand behind you, inhale, lifting. Get the legs first, maintain that lengthening of the groins. Remember that you also have to draw from the upper thighs back towards the abdomen. The more you do that, the more lift you actually get, the more space there is. And then turn, optimally for you. The slower you go, in my experience, the further you get. Compact the hips together. Turn optimally for you, and then observe. Maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Take hold of your strap. Keep that spine lifted as much as you can as you do this. I get that there's a little awkwardness here. Hold around the foot, lift that spine, hold both sides of the strap, one in each hand. And again, hopefully you figured this. If you don't have a strap, use a scarf or something else. But lengthen the groins, thigh bone, front thigh bone down, lengthen the groins, compact the hips. Lifting. And again, if that knee is up, put a blanket under it. And then maintaining that nice lift, reach with your right hand. That left hand comes behind you. So find an optimal place for it. I said, behind the center of the buttocks, but for me today, that was a little too much. So find that place. I'm gonna even out what I did on the other side and take it near my hip. Inhale, lifting, bend the elbow, exhale, turning. The elbow goes up, the shoulder goes down. Elbows up and out to the side. Lead with the body, not the head, chin parallel to the floor. Observe. Maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Remove the strap. Support your bent knee. Lift the foot up, lift the knee up, place the foot flat on the floor, hold behind the knee, draw the flesh towards the buttock, straighten your leg, take your legs together. It's a very short Dandasana. And now I want you to have your chair nearby. We're still doing Janu Shirshasana. Have some lift nearby that you might want on the chair. You might not know till you get in. So I have an extra blanket here. I have a block here because a block can be used as a lift. In fact, I'll just have everything that I might want over here. So back to Janu Shirshasana, the form. So inside of that knee, left knee, take the leg out. I'm going to take the right leg out, and then I'll take that chair and put it over the leg. I grabbed the chair without that front bar, so it was relatively easy for me to do, but you might have to do it, the lifting up way, and that's fine. Then you take that foot, drop back in. Now you've done the turning, so your body is warmed up here. So lift and turn towards that chair. And then lift, keep the length. I want you to come forward and rest your head, but I don't care about how far down you go. Here's the thing about forward bends, which it took me, I'll be honest, it took me many years to figure out. If you want to get deeper into your forward bends, you have to have your head supported. I fought with forward bends for years, and then in my home practice, I just got tired of it, and I got a chair and I started resting my head. And a few months later, my head, on a good day, started getting to my shin. But you have to have your head resting so that your body can release. So you can take another blanket or a block on top of that blanket. Also, if this doesn't work, getting your chair over your legs for whatever reason, because the turn is too much, because the chair doesn't quite work, then just take it inside the chair. That's fine. So have it inside your leg, right? So I've now taken the chair, it's inside of my leg. I still lift, there's still some of it, what of a turn, and then I can rest my head there. Yes, you can also pile a bunch of pillows or blankets on your leg. That's another way to do it. And the chair is kind of nice. Now, it's still helpful to take those left ribs down slightly. I should say it may be helpful. You decide if that's instruction is helpful. Certainly without working so hard, find a lengthening of the inner thighs. Without that disturbing. But can we've been talking about opening, just slowly opening the door. Can you slowly open the door of those inner thighs? Can you slowly open the door of the upper inner thighs, lengthening towards the lower abdomen? Just peeking through. Yes, there's a compacting of the hips together. Now rest your skull. Complete relaxation in the skull. The flesh of the forehead moves from the hairline towards the nose. And I often teach the breath in this pose, but before we do that, I want you to spend a moment simply observing the breath. Watch the breath breathe you. What does it do on its own? And then having witnessed the breath, begin to gently, peacefully, compassionately adjust the breath. Breathe from the base of your spine, up your back, filling up the back lungs. Exhale below your navel. Gently controlling the breath. It doesn't mean force a deep breath. That's something different. It's gently guiding the breath to places where it may not be touching. Breathe from the base of the spine to the top of the back. Fill up the back lungs. Exhale below the navel. right? Even with pranayama, which this is not strict pranayama, but pranayama translates to control of the breath. And what I found in my practice that it is better to cooperate and dance with the breath versus simply controlling it. Slowly inhale, come up. You have to move that chair out of the way. Support the bent knee. Stop. Foot on the floor. Hold the hand behind the knee. Straighten the leg. Legs together. And we set up for the other side. Right leg falling out. Hold the inside of the knee. Left leg out. I'm sorry. Right leg out. Then left straight leg goes out. Take that foot next to the thigh. Take the chair somehow over the leg. Do whatever adjusting you need. Bent leg supported today. Lifting, turning, which we practiced before, so you get some of that turn. Inhale, and then exhale, come forward. Fold your arms the opposite way. And the head can rest on the forearms. If it's more comfortable on the chair itself, that's fine. Take a moment to settle in. Again, if the chair doesn't work over your leg, put it inside of your leg. That's fine. If pillows or blankets are better than the chair, or bolsters if you have them are better than the chair, yeah, pile those up. Take the right ribs down. Lengthen the groins. Open, right? Opening, peeking through. Let the skull rest. Those who are gently coming in and out to adjust their props, I am celebrating you. I am celebrating you're communicating with your body and making appropriate adjustments for you. Rest your skull. The flesh moves from the hairline towards the nose. And start by simply then witnessing the breath, seeing what it does on its own, before seeking to control it, before seeking to cooperate and adjust it. Simply witness it. Keeping the skull resting. That's the most important. Let your skull rest. Keeping the skull resting, begin to cooperate with your breath. So don't force a deep breath. The amount of breath is still controlled by the breath. But direct it from the base of your spine up to the top of your back, filling up your back lungs, even broadening across the top of the back and exhaling below your navel. And slowly inhale, come up. Get the chair out of the way. Take hold of the bent knee. Lift it up. Straighten the legs together. Dandasana. Now we're going to do Upavista Konasana. We did it before upright. We're going to do it with the support of the chair. So separate your legs. Take that chair between your legs. Again, talk with your body. Adjust your legs optimally. Now, the lift you had for Janu Shirshasana may or may not work for Upavista Konasana. So you might have to adjust, okay? Lift up through the side ribs. Lengthen the groins. Descend the groins, compact the hips. Inhale, exhale, come forward, rest the head. Now maybe you want something higher. Maybe you want something lower. For me here, actually lower is a little bit better. Make sure that as you're lengthening the inner thighs that you're drawing back from the top of the thighs towards the abdomen. That will allow you to release more. Soft face. If your head is really falling, then you need a higher lift. Some of you just have the head dropping onto the chair. That's not what you want. So you just take a higher lift so that the back of your neck is more in line with your spine. Okay, if you have a huge angle from the I'm going to say top of the spine, but the neck is part of the spine, but from the top of the torso to the neck, if that is really dropping, then please take a higher lift. It doesn't have to be completely straight, but so that it is certainly straighter. Okay, you don't want to just drop the head down. And the important thing here is not how far down you go or not how far out you go, although you can adjust both of those to an optimal experience for you. But the optimal experience is the head resting, the head surrendering, so that the brain inside of the head can rest and surrender. Because for many of us, the brain inside of our head is under too much stress right now. And we are not letting it rest. And sleep is not, rest and sleep are different. Let your skull rest while you are awake. And then take a moment here to observe the breath. Simply observing, not adjusting yet. We will get there. And then begin to adjust the breath, cooperating with the breath, breathing from the base of your spine to the top of your back, filling up your back lungs, broadening across the top of the back. Exhale below the navel. And slowly inhale, come up. Take your hands on the inside of your knees, lift up. You're going to put them under the chair. Hold behind one leg. Draw the flesh towards the buttock as you drag the heel. Other leg, draw the flesh towards the buttock, drag your heel. Some of you may need a higher lift now, actually. Some of you may need to come out and take a higher lift. It depends on you, your back, your hamstrings. But here we are. Lift up. Come forward. Rest your head. If it's too intense, then work. It may be a higher lift under your buttocks will help you. It may be a higher lift under your head will help you. It may be both. Speak to your body. Communicate with your body. Lengthen the groins, especially that part. You're lengthening out through the knee and the heel, but don't forget to draw back. Upper thighs towards the abdomen. Opening there. The flesh of the inner thighs descending. The flesh of the outer thighs descending as well without turning the thighs out. So that's why we often simply pay attention to the inner thighs, but to be clear, the inner and outer thighs descend. Let the skull rest. Let the skull rest. And now become a witness for the breath. Just witnessing. And then beginning to work with the breath. Breathe from the base of your spine to the top of your back. Exhale below your navel. Let the head rest. Again, if the chair is too low, just put things on it. A block. Take an extra block. It's fine. Breathing from the base of your spine now, filling up the back lungs. Exhale below your navel. And then slowly inhale, come up. All right, we are done with forward bends for today. You know, when my brain is in that state of there's just too much going on, when my body is in a state of I am not ready for standing poses, these forward bends, supporting forward bends are my go-to, especially Janu Shirshasana with one straight leg, one bent leg, Upavisa Konasana with the two straight legs out to the side. They are my go-to poses to reset myself, and I highly recommend you begin to practice them. All right, you're going to have your chair. You're going to take a couple blankets. If you have a bolster, you can use a bolster. Otherwise, make a bolster with your blanket. So they start off this square way, fold them in half, the thin way. Towels will also work. I'm going to use a couple blankets. I'm taking a blanket on my chair because this chair is kind of cold. If your chair is wood or if you have leggings on, you may not need it, but this is a metal chair and I don't like being cold. We'll take the chair. You may also want a blanket for your head. It's going to depend on you. You're going to set this up in front of your chair. You'll sit on the blankets. Your lower back is on the is on the lift here. So my lower back is raised. My calves are on the chair. And then you can let go. Find a comfortable place for your arms. If it's not uncomfortable to hold your elbows and extend your arms overhead so that the armpits are nice and open, can be very nice. If it's too much and you want to do that, well, you can take a couple more blankets or towels or pillows, or I just happen to have a block nearby, so you can rest your arms there, and that's fine as well. And if that's just uncomfortable, it's just a nice way to open up those armpits where, as we've discussed in the past, the armpits, shoulder area, emotions get stuck. So this helps relieve those emotions. But Shavasana arms are fine. Those cactus arms are fine as well. If anything's not making sense or you don't have your pose, please ask. Unmute yourself. Allow the abdomen to be soft. Allow the abdomen to be soft. Still, without doing the work, right? Sometimes when we talk about lengthening, stretching, we work hard at it. Allow your inner groins to lengthen without working. So it's more of a mental exercise of sending signals there for the inner thighs to lengthen and relax. Carolyn, you want your whole calf to be on the chair, up to your knee. Even more. Get that chair closer to you a little bit more. Or you closer to the chair, one or the other. Yeah. I'm going to assume that feels better. Your whole calf supported on the chair, or at least if you have very long legs, maybe the lower part near your ankles are not. But the calf, the knee part, right where the knee bends, from there, you want that whole upper calf to be supported. For those that the poses are gone. I know some of you have gone through the teacher training here. This is Viparita Karani with the support of the chair, right? Often we do this, well, the real pose is legs up in the middle of the room. We often do it supported against a wall with straight legs. And this is another version of Viparita Karani being supported by the chair. But it is the same pose with many of the same benefits. Become a witness here for about another minute. Can you completely surrender to the props, to the ground, to the Mother Earth, and become a witness for the breath? Slowly bend your legs into your chest. Remember that your lower back is on this lift, and roll to the right. Or if rolling to the left is better, roll to the left. So roll to the side, come up, keep the chair. Take one of these blankets or take a blanket for your head. And now you will be doing Shavasana, again supported by the chair. If you prefer a flat Shavasana, you can certainly do it, but this is nice. So now the spine, right? Viparita Karani keeps the spine in a gentle back bend, which was nice after all the forward bends. And now we are putting the spine in neutral, but still allowing the legs to be supported, which helps release the lower back. Find a comfortable position for the arms. Make sure that blanket is supporting your neck as well as your head. And let go. Imagine that each pore on your body, the whole body, that each pore is its own little lung. And breathe in through those pores. And breathe out through those pores across the whole body. Inhaling into the pores of your skin. Exhaling through the pores of your skin. And then aim your awareness towards the center of your skull. Let your front brain rest on your back brain. Become a witness to the breath as the breath breathes you. Shavasana. Begin to deepen the inhalation and lengthen the exhalation. Deepen the inhalation, lengthen the exhalation. Move your toes, move your nose. Extend your arm past your ear, pick a side, then your legs into your chest, roll to that side. Turn your torso towards the floor, push to come up. Cross your legs the opposite way you started class. Bring the palms together at your heart. Take a moment to observe, practicing the art of observation. With friendliness. Take your yoga practice with you out into the rest of your day and all of your interactions with other people. With kindness, with compassion. Kindness and compassion for others. Most importantly, kindness and compassion for yourself. Let's close our practice by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Gently allow your eyes to open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you.